Hi Rattlers, this is Miss Peña, one of your counselors here at East Montana Middle School. Remember, I will be seeing students with last names A through L, and then we have our other counselor, Miss Perez. She oversees students last name M through C. We will be meeting you soon in the library for our guidance lessons. But today we're going to go ahead and get started by talking about the science of emotions, regulating to learn using circles. So as your teachers have mentioned or will mention, this year we are going to be doing circles every Monday and Fridays during den time. Why? Why are we going to be doing these circles, Miss? Well, because our teachers and staff want to check in on you and make sure that you're doing well. These circles are going to help us regulate our brain so that we're learning and help us build relationships with our classmates and with our teachers, and to create a safe environment. We want you all to feel loved, safe, and cared for while you're here at school. We're going to start off by watching a video of the model of the brain using our hand. You all may have remembered this, our 7th and 8th graders from last school years that we have reviewed our model of the brain. So let's go ahead and watch this video.
It started with a simple but effective idea. A way to visualize our rising emotions and help restore our calm, keeping our cool when flipping our lids. It's a hand model of the brainchild of Dr. Daniel Siegel, and here's how it works. Put your thumb in the middle of your palm and curl your fingers over the top. Now you have a model of the brain. Lift your fingers up and raise your thumb. That's the inner brainstem represented by your palm and wrist. The brainstem controls basic body functions like breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure. Put your thumb back down. That's the approximate location of the limbic area, most notably the amygdala, which helps to regulate emotions and our fight, flight, freeze response. Now, curl your fingers back over the top, and your prefrontal cortex, which allows us to think critically, predict consequences, control impulses, and do other executive functions, is in place. The frontmost part of the brain helps us rationally manage the amygdala and brainstem areas. But when our emotions start to rise, maybe someone's pushed your last button, or you perceive a threat or danger, our amygdala overrides the prefrontal area and we can flip our lids, losing our cool and acting in ways that can be scary to others. By visualizing our lid flipping and noticing when our emotions are rising, we can take a break or a deep breath and work to calm ourselves, giving our brainstem a chance to regulate our body and allowing us to actually change what the brain does and return to the clearer thinking of the prefrontal cortex. That's the power of using the hand model for ourselves and as a learning tool for our children.
So just as I mentioned in the video, there's a difference between a regulated learning brain and a dysregulated brain. We need to be at a regulated state when we're in the classroom so that we're able to learn. So how are circles going to help us? Well, they're going to help us to learn regulation skills and to practice these skills on a weekly basis so that when we're feeling these strong emotions, we can help ourselves cool down. So what are your circles going to look like? Your teacher will have you all literally stand or sit in a circle, and then you're going to start off with a welcome and a purpose of why you're there. Every circle will have a talking piece, and then your teacher's going to go over the rules and procedures of the circle. They're going to do a check-in with you to see how you're doing for that day, and then a regulation skill. You're going to practice different breathing exercises, and then we're going to close with our I am brave at East Montana Middle School, I am brave affirmations. So in Clint ISD, we want to lead circles so that all students feel loved, important, and safe. Like I said, this is why we're going to be doing circles on a weekly basis now. So the check-in part is going to help us because it's going to help us identify how we are feeling that day. And I know that it's going to be a little bit hard at the beginning to start off with circles because we might feel shy or we might feel a little bit embarrassed to talk in front of others. But these check-ins can be very simple, either a quick word to say how you're feeling or a thumbs up, thumbs down. There'll be different strategies that your teachers will be using. Next up is the regulation skills. So those breathing exercises that your teachers are going to start teaching you during circles are going to help us reset our brains so that it helps us get ready to learn. In order to learn, our brains need to be in a regulated state, a smart, learning, thinking brain. Remember, throughout the day, we have all kinds of feelings, and that's normal. We're all human. We all have different types of feelings. Sometimes we're going through something, sometimes with our friends, with our family, with our pets, with our loved ones, with our boyfriend or girlfriend. However, sometimes those feelings that we are having, like angry, sadness, feeling sadness, feeling upset, feeling anxious, they can dysregulate our brains. And that's when we're in our class and we're overthinking maybe, and we start to get upset at the teacher. We take it out on our students next to us or to the teacher. So we can't learn or think or make logical decisions if our brain is dysregulated. Our brain may need help regulating to get back to smart brain mode. And that's normal. Even adults, we all have our moments where we kind of lose it. So if it happens to us, especially to middle school students, right? You guys have a lot going on in your lives. So next time you have a big feeling, follow these 3 steps to get you back to a regulated state. The first step is to identify the emotion. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? Am I feeling anger, sadness? Am I feeling worried? Am I feeling stressed? And this is how our check-ins and our circles are going to help us to start identifying these different emotions. Step 2, how big is your feeling? Yeah, you are sad, but is it something that you can still cope with? Is it on a scale of 1 to 10, a little monster? It's on a 1 basis. It's not really affecting you, but it's in the back of your mind. Or is it a gigantic monster like, hey, this sadness is taking over and I can't even concentrate. It's more of a scale of 8, 9, or 10. Once you've identified those feelings and how big or small your feelings are, then you need to choose a regulation skill. So this is going to help you to be able to regulate your brain. Remember, our brains are flipped right now. We're having these big emotions. So what can we do to help us regulate? This is where those mindfulness and breathing exercises come to play, right? We start breathing, we start counting 1 to 10, whatever it is that you can do in the classroom to help you feel better. Obviously, if this is happening when you're at home, well, you have luxuries of going for a walk or playing with your pet, right? But we need to practice these breathing exercises or counting or regulation skills that we can use inside the classroom. Our circles are going to help us because you're going to learn different types of breathing exercises on a weekly basis. The first couple of weeks, we're going to start off with our 5-finger breathing, which is this one right here in the top, in the bottom right corner. And this one is going to be our standard exercise that we are going to start with so that we get that practice. I have a lot of students that say, Miss, breathing doesn't help me. Well, that's because we're not doing it consistently. You need to practice and do it on a consistent basis so that you start feeling that calmness with the breathing. Trust me, it works. There's science behind breathing exercises, guys. What are some other ways that you can regulate your brains? Besides breathing, go get a drink of water, go for a walk, exercise, draw. Obviously, like I said, when you're in the classroom, sometimes we cannot disrupt the teacher while they're teaching. You need to find something that you can do at your seat that's going to help you to regulate your brain, until you are allowed to talk to a counselor or to go out for a drink of water or just to catch your breath in the hallway, if allowed. How will you regulate your brain next time it is dysregulated? A regulated brain is a learning brain. It's not fluff, it's science. Remember, circles are going to help us to get there, guys, and I know that it's going to be something new, but it's exciting. This is where we're going to build that classroom culture and get to know each other, get to meet new classmates, and everything that you guys discuss in your circle, it stays in your circle. This is like your little family during your den time that you're going to be able to connect with. I will be seeing you soon in our guidance lessons, and we hope that you all really try your best in these circles and that it helps you to learn how to regulate your brains.